Here we go. 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 Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Welcome to this. I don't think we've ever streamed on a Sunday, but welcome to this stream on Sunday. If you're looking here on the screen, you'll see that you're joined by my private Patreon group. I don't talk about it enough, but I wanted to talk about it today because these are some fascinating individuals. These are DIYers, do-it-yourselfers. These are folks from all walks of life, all over the world, who all have music in common. We have music producers, we have artists, we have all levels of experience. And I look at everybody in here as family. I know I'm on a first name basis. I've spent years with some of them, and I look forward to chopping it up with them. I met a lot of them through my first community. I had a community called Curtis King TV. And that was in 2019, and we invested about 330 hours into it. And when I burnt out eventually, as I tend to do sometimes, I eventually let go of it, but it was a void in my life because I missed the conversation. I missed the camaraderie. I missed answering the questions. I missed just a lot of things in here. So with that being said, I just wanted to let you see what this experience looks like, as well as chime in the chat as we're kind of discussing this topic of producer voids. And let me actually give the actual question. Patrons, first of all, how are you doing? DIYers, how are you feeling today? How are you doing?
Feeling good, feeling great.
Incredible.
No complaints.
Amazing.
Nice. Well, I appreciate you giving me your consent to share this experience. Shout out to Beast Juggernaut. I'm just seeing you right now. That's one of my OG members from the original Curtis King TV. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us here today. But so the question that I have for you is there a void in terms of your needs, your specific needs? Is there a void in the music producer community in terms of content? Let me give a little backstory, and I'm going to let you gather your thoughts as I give you a little backstory of why I'm asking this question. Initially, when I came to this space, there wasn't a whole lot of variety. Yo, Classy Beats is another OG of the community. Good to see you here, fam. Ricky Adams says yes. Is there a void in the producer community space? This is not meant to be any commentary on anybody else's stuff. Everybody's doing the best that they know how. Right? And they want to be successful in the best way possible. I don't think anybody's wrong. That's not what this is about. This is strictly about for what your needs are. Specifically, is there a void and how do we fill that? And I'm speaking on behalf of content creators because it seems like when I first came into this space, it was tutorials and very little else. There wasn't like the storylines like we see from the Simon Servitas and, from the Kyle Beats. It's done a lot of evolution in terms of the content. We saw producer vlogs for a second, and we saw behind the beat making videos, but it just feels like it's a very small collection or buckets of content, at least for me. Because I'll be honest, I don't find myself watching a lot of producer content unless I'm in study mode, which means a lot of times I'm looking for like how-to content on how to do specific things like how do I change themes in FL Studio 21 is what the only kind of producer content I'll look for. But I represent a certain age of YouTube, and some of y'all represent all kind of experiences. And I'm sure you've had these same thoughts about, man, I wish somebody would make videos about this. Or I wish they did tutorials, but I wish they were more entertaining. Or I wish they were done in a different way. I'm currently in brainstorm mode. I'm currently in collection of ideas mode. So the information you give today will be extremely valuable. But I want to start with my patrons because all of y'all are paying to be here, and I greatly appreciate y'all. I appreciate everybody here too on the YouTube. This is not me trying to divide anything, but I want to make sure I give them the stage first. And then I kind of want to get some of your opinions as well. I'm going to be looking at the chat as we go through this, but patrons, DIYers, what is your opinion about producer-related content? Does it serve your needs, or are you looking elsewhere these days?
Y'all mind if I go first?
Yes, yes. Could you
Am
please
I
tell the
supposed-
people who you are first and foremost in case they don't know?
All right, my name is Avedon Smith, and thank you, Curtis, for offering this opportunity. Um,
Always.
One of the things that I would say is I don't necessarily think that there is like a miss of my needs of content, but it's more so what I've noticed in a lot of in the music producer community. It's like there's not it's not properly optimized, so it seems like it's not there.
What do you mean
So
when you
like the
say that?
content, so the con, well, yeah. So the con, I should have maybe break this down. So a lot of
Because
people,
you talking my language, but some folks here optimize
yeah,
and be like, yeah, he ain't talking to me.
yeah.
No, he is talking to you.
So a lot of people would they'll have a great idea. The video is great, but the thumbnail and the title doesn't necessarily convey something that I would normally click on. So I would probably pass by something that is what I'm looking for, but because it's not packaged to what I'm looking for, I'm more than likely not going to click on
and
it.
you
And
never
that's
even
just
get a
my
chance.
behavior.
Yeah.
So I don't think because YouTube, this if you would go all of it, there's trillions of videos on YouTube.
Right.
So it's like I know there's libraries of stuff on YouTube, but we only have X amount of time in a day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's like to go through all of that, who wants to go through all that time? So to be more time sufficient, we will actually pay out of pocket to go on Coursera, to go on Skillshare.
Yeah.
We'll go on these websites to get the help that we need because we feel it's more efficient to our time.
Yeah. That's a great point. That's a great point, Avedon. Anybody else?
Yeah, I got something. So I'm pretty new to.
Oh, before you get into it, could you introduce yourself to us and the people? I guess. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I so I've got a speech impairment, so I'm going to start really, really badly.
All right here, fam. Thank you for being here first and foremost.
Yeah, so my name's Meepsy. I'm new to beat making. I'm not new to making music. I've played guitar on and off for 20 years. I got into beat making like maybe a year ago, but I've not done it consistently. But the one thing that I find I can't find is actual videos on the beat aspect of it. Like everyone's melodies. I've got melodies in spades, but nothing that's like in-depth beat making. Like
Right.
The percussion side of it. It's just like nobody's sharing the secret sauce then. That's the only way I can explain it.
And what do you think kind of categorizes itself as the secret sauce? Because I feel like when people say they want the secret sauce, I'll give you. I'll speak for myself first before you answer that. When I first got on, that's what I thought all content was supposed to be. Like before I learned anything about funnels and all of this other crazy stuff, I thought it was you're supposed to get on here and kind of disclose like, hey, this is my gems. And what I came to realize, at least at that time, because I was attacking YouTube SEO and because I was attacking search first, I was getting majority beginners, right? The folks who rack up the views, the folks who leave the engagement. And I noticed that the folks who had more experience, at that time at least, they weren't necessarily on YouTube as often because they were working on the thing they had experience in. So I always wonder, and this is just for you specifically, not for those producers, but for you, what do you kind of categorize as secrets? Or what would you think is a secret?
I don't know what the secret sauce is.
Mm-hmm.
And what I'm finding a lot, and YouTube's in a really weird place right now, because if you search for something, you get like 5 results, and then it's like a bunch of recommended stuff.
Yes.
That's nothing to do with your search
Search
results.
is almost dead to a certain degree.
I was looking for something about connecting external hardware into a DAW the other day, and I had 5 results, and I had to put it in a Discord, and somebody else come back with the results for me because that wasn't showing up for me. But essentially, I see a lot of videos, and like they seem to like make a melody, they start cooking up the beat aspect of it, and it's all like highly edited. Like I'm finding it hard to find an entire session that's broke down as a tutorial. And it's like I watched your live stream the other day of you cooking, and like you've got me kind of thinking about converting to Fruity Loops. I'm not gonna lie, because I just watched you flow.
Wow, on a Sunday, we talking about converting to Fruity Loops. Look, that's a word right there. That's a good word right there.
I know the basics of Fruity Loops. I know the basic of most of the doors, but like just watching how you cooked like that, I'm like, how in the heck it just flows, you know? I have my own concerns about Fruity Loops because I come at music from a guitarist perspective, and recording audio into Fruity Loops is a nightmare. But it's definitely something I'm considering. But yeah, I don't know what. I guess I don't know what the secret sauce is, but just the beat making aspect of it, like more breakdowns on it. Why the beat sounds this way, or like the kick and stuff. Because like a lot of, I guess I'm unique in this way. Like sounds weird to me. Like a lot of kicks, and they've got like this harsh sound to it. So it's like I'm trying to work out what my own kick should sound like.
Right. Well, and this is not supposed.
Aspects of it.
Thank you for that feedback. And this is not supposed to be meant to be anybody, like any commercial or anything like that. But I do think it's important that I let it be known I do have FL Studio courses on CurtisKing.com. For those who are interested, I have beginners courses as well as an advanced course with the homie Larry O, and there's a bundle for both of those if you're interested. So that's first and foremost. I think what you're talking about, a lot of people have questions about, and this is why I like centering in on not just how to put instruments in the channel rack. That you can get a video for that, but the why behind why we do certain things. Why do you arrange the way you do? Why do you start off with the drums? Why, like, there's things that people are, I think YouTube producers or content creator producers, that's kind of like the base level bar, is that we know how to like show you how to do something, right? But explaining the why when it's a creative field is a challenge for a lot of people because they don't know why they do it. They just learned it from somebody else or learned it from habit. And there's not really in their opinion, a way to verbalize it. So I think sometimes, just to kind of defend, not myself, but some of the creators, they don't know how to explain it to you because to them it's just it doesn't really have an explanation. Does that make sense?
Yeah, man.
Okay, and I'm props to you. I didn't notice no speech impediment, man. So I wouldn't even have attention to it. If anything, I feel like I got more of one than anybody else because I'll repeat my.
We didn't even need that disclaimer.
We didn't even need a disclaimer, right? Well, since you on the screen, Rex B. First and foremost, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Happy it's Sunday. Just chilling.
Yeah.
Good day.
Okay. You know what? I want to do something before you get into your explanation. I want to do something because, I'm now feeling like I have a different perspective when it comes to my audience on the other side. I know we're having a great conversation, but let's put some music on in the background. Let's set some energy. Let's set us at a vibe. I don't know if y'all gonna hear it on your side. I got to share audio, but everybody on the outside on the YouTube, make sure you got Curtis King care about your experience too. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't ever say I didn't care. So let me go ahead and turn this music down a little bit so we can have a speaking voice. All right, sweet. There we go. I like that. Now we got the mood set. You got your camera looking real nice. Look at that composition. Look at that color correction. You got me, you know what I'm saying? You got me, I'm looking at you. Look, bro, props to you first and foremost. But what is your feedback on this question, man? Like, is there a void in your particular opinion? And if so, what is it when it comes to producer content?
I don't know. I feel like, at least from my age group, excuse me, I feel like I don't really have enough time to be on, looking at a lot of producer content. I usually just stick to what I know. I have a 4-year-old, so like any time that I had to myself is just like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm either trying to cook up or I'm like working on other stuff, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't really have like a answer for that because I'm not necessarily looking for new stuff at the moment,
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't know if that's the Zoom thing or if that might be your mic, but would you mind turning your mic up just a little bit? I think you come in a little bit low.
Oh, yeah. 1 second.
Flawed TV. Shout out to Weaver Beats. He's in the building. Flawed TV said, I like your hating energy. LOL. And then Weaver Beats did the most Weaver Beats response you're ever going to get. Thank you. It took years to perfect. I love that. Only Weaver Beats could get that one off. Heisenberg in the building.
Sound? Is that better?
That is better. Well,
better?
at least on my end. Those on YouTube, Can you hear what's going on? Is that a lot better? Go ahead and get a mic check real quick.
Check. Microphone check.
How we feeling on that one, audience? YouTubers, you good? What's good, Lazy Eye? Much better. Okay. So let's hear. We want to make sure we get a fair answer from that. But you were basically explaining, because of the responsibilities of having a 4-year-old, because of responsibilities of life, and because of where you're at currently in life, it makes it a challenge to hyper consume content. And being transparent, I kind of deal with the same. I got a 4-year-old myself. He getting ready to turn 5 this year. But thankfully, my wife spends the majority of the time with him. She works from home. I work from home. So we work it out the best we can. But when it comes to like hoarding content, I hoard more short form than I do long form. But I don't like making long form more than I don't like making short form more than I like making long form. I just love, obviously being long-winded. I can't shut up. But that's just kind of where I'm at with it. But did you have something else that you wanted to add to that before we kind of move on to the next person?
No, not really. Just listening.
Okay, sweet. Anyone else have any feedback? Just to reset the room, the question is what the question is in the title, which is, are there voids currently in producer content when it comes to your needs as a producer? Short form definitely isn't fulfilling. That's what Weaver B said. I'm with you on that one. It's really for me for entertainment, to be completely honest with you. Wag Master.
Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Oh yeah, I gotta do the introduction. So I'm Whack Master. I'm doing good, but I'm Whack Master. I'm actually not a hip hop producer. I'm a dubstep producer, but I feel like the thing that I really don't see that often, specifically from producers, I see it from other musicians, but not producers, is just music theory stuff. And I understand why, because honestly, you don't really need it. If you've been listening to music long enough, you kind of get an idea of what sounds good and what doesn't good. And in fact, music theory was developed, so the people before us didn't have music theory at all, if you think about it like that too. So it is missing that, because I know there's some people who really want to get into it, and I know other people like me
Right.
put it off to the side sometimes.
He said other people is me. Other people is me. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Other People. So when you say music theory, like, paint me a picture. What would be like the perfect content? Like, what would be like the perfect balance of content? Like, what would you find as a video that you're like, man, I could consume 50 of these? Like, for some people, it'll be, I forget my guy's name, Reed Steffen. Reed Steffen has the puppet. Right?
Yeah, the puppet.
Realest puppet in the game.
Realest puppet. See, and guys, he has a tagline. Like, those kind of things, to me, people who don't make content are like, oh my God, it's so gimmicky. But it's like, bro, do you know what time we're living in? Do you understand that people's attention spans there was a study that said the attention spans of audiences in general used to be 7 seconds. You had to see something, I think, 7 times in order for it to resonate and stay with you. And they said now that has doubled to 14 times, that you have to see something in order for that. And even when we talk about short form content, Weaver said it wasn't as satisfying. I was watching Daryl Eves, who's a super dope YouTube creator who teaches you how to use YouTube. He has a live stream that just came out, and he said that, and I agree with him in that, if your job is to come on here and sell beats, if your job is to come on here and sell products, if your job is to come on here and to sell sound packs, the shorts are not a good enough sample size for people to remember you and then want to go visit your website. When I go on shorts, you know what it took me doing? And I suggest this to anybody else out there. Whatever your current YouTube channel is, go inside the brands tab on Google and start another YouTube channel just to become a viewer. And then watch your own viewing habits. And then watch how YouTube starts to change your news feed. And that first few days of that news feed, it's just things that are the most popular. I would suggest you start screenshotting every one of those and seeing, why does that resonate with so many people? Is it the thumbnail? Is it the clickable title? Because that is the most unbiased your timeline will look. When you see that, it will change your perspective when you know that you're studying. After that, watch how it changes and watch your own viewing habits. I'm telling you, when it comes to shorts, Anytime I saw producer content, no disrespect to anybody, but anytime I saw producer content, I was like, yeah, I'm good. What I watched the most was like, there's a guy from New York who's like, who interviews drill rappers, and he'll ask him a question, and they'll say something wild, and he'll be like, nah, you bugging, B. And I just thought it was the funniest thing in the world. Or it'll be like a guy who walks around college campus, and he makes people rate themselves like, but scale of 1 to 10, what do you think you are? I think I'm a 7. Do you think other people would rate you? Would they rate you? I'm an 8. And he would take a picture of them and go to the next person. I'm like, that's what I'm watching is entertainment stuff. But that's not what I'm making. So where's the disconnect? And so this is why I've been mixing things up with my content, doing more live streams, because I'm like, I want to make the kind of content that I watch. The same way I want to make the kind of music I listen to is where I'm at with it. So that long-winded answer was just to kind of make sure that I kind of had an opportunity to say that. But community, talk to me. Talk to me about more voids that you wish were fulfilled in this space. Whackmaster, I'm sorry, did you get a chance to explain that all the way? I know you talked about music theory.
Oh, well, yeah, you kind of drove the point. That'd be more of a long form content thing. That wouldn't be a short form. You don't explain all the different modes in like 7 or not even in a minute and 30 seconds. You don't explain that.
Right, and if you do, you just want it to be.
Yeah, that'd be more long form, and that's because it's a lot quicker. You can consume a lot more stuff. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
Absolutely. Okay, community. Who's up next? Let's talk. Please talk to the people in here, and I'm paying attention to the chat as well. Hell, no one teaches professionalism in a producer space. I spoke with a producer ran company, and they were calling me bro and fam and using fire emojis. Let me say this part about that. I think it's because a lot of these companies don't take us seriously. I think a lot of these companies, and I can tell you straight up, with plug-in companies, like they talk to me like a dummy. They talk to me like I don't understand analytics. They talk to me like I don't understand overhead. Like I don't understand having. I told one of these companies who tried to offer me, big company too, Slate Digital. I had to tell one of their representatives. They came to me with a deal for $200. I didn't sign any NDA, so I'll go ahead and say it. They came to me with a deal for $200. I feel like Soulja Boy. $200? I don't say it for what? Oh, to talk about our $300 product. I said, do you know how that doesn't make any sense? I have a video editor that I pay. At that time, I had a video editor that I pay. I have to pay him out of my pockets for him every month to do that. And he gets a slash of that. Not to mention the viewership that's going to get, because I know and I have experience in copy. I have experience in video production. I'm a great speaker in here. I have a certain demographic too. There's a lot of producers, a lot of black producers who see themselves in me that a lot of these companies have a disconnect with because they don't talk the language that we all talk, right? They just don't understand those nuances. And so they come to me with these deals, and I'm like, you think that I'm just going to get excited about getting a free, not for release NFR software? But do the math. Do the math. You guys probably have a social media manager on your team. And entry level, they're getting paid probably $30,000 a year. Okay? They get a paycheck. Only thing is, they don't have to put their brand on the line anytime they talk about a product. What if I talk about a product and you guys figure out it's a scam, right? Or I figure out later on it's a scam, and then rewind back to the videos I did. Now I look like a goof. I look like a goofball. I look like, oh my gosh, I'm leading my people, I'm leading my audience into untrustworthy waters. Why would you ever want to watch any other videos from me? So I tell them, you don't understand the risk that I take putting my brand and my name out there. And neither do they care. And I'm like, you pay your social media manager so much more, and I become your social media manager. I do more work than your social media manager, because you want me to repurpose my content for all of my social medias for this deal. You want me to put my content up on YouTube. You want me to edit. You want me to create copy. You want me to do all these things that make me influential and then pay me $200 for a $300 product? Well, some people will be like, you're being ungrateful, Curtis. Go ahead and take it. Do it one time, get that money, and keep moving. Here's the thing. I have an issue with a $300 product being on my channel that gets to live forever and doesn't have a ceiling on how much money it can make. And then the only money I can make from it is maybe $14 in ad revenue if I do what I'm supposed to be doing. And maybe, you know what I'm saying, the free plugin. But that free plugin is not me getting $300. It's a plugin that they gave me an NFR for and doesn't cost them anything to do. So when you really look at it like that, they don't expect to have those high-level conversations. They think that we're idiots. And until we say no, until we do things that are that's why no matter how we feel about things like Kyle Beats' Sandbox, I know it's getting a lot of like mixed reviews from the Sandbox plugin. Regardless, good or bad, it's good that producers are making plugins. It's amazing that it is, right? I don't agree with, and I'm not saying this is him, but I don't agree with producers making plugins and then acting like the plugin companies that are tyrants. But I do think it's great for the community at large for us to get involved, because now they have to change their business model. Now they can't come to us and give us these idiot deals. So I think it's important for that transparency. But yeah, it's a lot of creators are in very vulnerable places for that very reason, because it's like these companies don't respect you, and that's why they're broing you, Flawed. Or whoever I'm sorry, that wasn't Flawed. I think it was Charismatic. Who was it that said it? Who said that? I'm sorry. Charismatic. I'm sorry. That was Charismatic. Yeah, they'll try to sun you. And I hate to make it about race, but I need to say this. There's a disproportionate amount that is offered to creators of color than there are creators in different backgrounds. How do I know this? Because I have friends in different backgrounds that tell me what the same exact company's offer was then to them. The first offer compared to what it is for me. And it's creators that have that I have less subscribers than me or slightly more. And when I see them talking to them in email threads a certain way and talking to me in a certain way, I'm just like, what's so different about this channel that you change your language, your lingo, and your pricing? I have to believe that it's some kind of inner bias that may exist. So I'll just say that to say that. Like I said, I don't want to out nobody or put that. That's not the purpose of this. It's to make sure that we all have transparency, so that when you guys ask, man, why aren't you doing any sponsorship stuff? Because of that kind of stuff. Because you're not going to treat me like boo-boo. Like my grandpa used to say, you think I'm boo-boo the fool, huh? You think I was born yesterday? I was born during the day. I ain't born yesterday. Community, what you got to say about the voids? Is there anything else that we're gonna add to this?
Wow, that's an interesting question, if I may.
Yeah, DM, could you turn up your mic significantly, please, sir? Because I want to make sure we can hear from you.
Okay, how about that? Is it better?
Yeah, a little bit more.
A little bit more. How about that there?
That's perfect. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great. I can't complain. I mean, I could, but what's the use?
That part.
Yeah. I miss you guys. I'm glad to be back. And that question is very interesting, because just the things that you were just talking about, when you think about it, those are sort of the things that I can say that are a void in this space, But for me personally, I would say that there's so much content out there. I would agree with Avedon Smith that it would appear to be that there wouldn't be a void, because there's just so much content out there over the years.
Mm-hmm.
But when I began thinking about it and listening to everything that you were just saying, what you were saying, I would say for me would be a void, because we don't have enough of that personally.
What was that? I'm sorry. You kind of broke out there for me. You said, what was that personally? The void?
Yeah, the void of the things that you were just mentioning.
Okay.
Like pulling back the layers and actually, pulling back the layers, like what's that movie, The Wizard of Oz?
Yeah.
What's behind the scene, those type of things. I think that would be a void for me.
Of seeing the inner workings of how some of these things work, right?
Exactly.
And that's stuff that I've kind of strayed away from in the past, because one, I just didn't want to become a YouTuber that I only showed up when I had an issue with something, right? But I do have an issue with that. I have a huge issue with that, and I think that a lot of folks, even if they're not quite at the place of getting sponsorships, they need to have somebody that I shouldn't say they need somebody, but I don't mind being a voice of what you
The truth.
look of truth, right? Look, further down this road, be careful, because I seen a spike strip down here, and you want to be careful because I think they're trying to catch somebody. That's what I kind of see myself as in this space, and that if I don't say it, or if folks like myself don't say it, will it be said, or will people even see a necessity? Because I feel like, to me, in a certain degree, it's almost like the Me Too movement. When one person said something, someone else felt the security to speak up and say something. And I feel like a lot of times that's what occurs. Like, do you want to be the one person that crashed out, and it may mean you never get another deal again?
Yeah. Well, that's what trailblazers do. They be the first ones to go out and set the bar for everybody. You know what I mean? And
Talk about it.
I see you as a trailblazer.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
DM,
Yes,
could
sir.
you please tell these folks my favorite quote from you, which I think is one of the most genius music production quotes I have ever heard in my life, because I've known you for some years, and man, you know, I love you like family, like I never met. But what is your go-to quote, man? What is your go-to quote that these people need to hear?
Music is what feelings sound like.
Woo! Woo! I love that. Music is what feelings sound
like.
I love it. Well, thank you for that input, DM Beast.
Yes, sir.
DM. Yeah, so who else has something else to say? Please let your voice be heard. My croissant's getting cold.
What's up? So my name is Yannick. I'm from Germany. Artist named Janix. I'm a content creator myself. I've got like a little FL Studio YouTube channel doing the short form content too, all of that. And I feel like it's a big problem when it comes to making content for the more advanced people, because it's like you said, it's so easy to make content for beginners. You get a lot of views, you get all the people from search coming your way, and then people start making beats, and at some points they're done, you know, they know how to use the program, they know how to make their sound, they know everything about that, they do it every day. They don't really need the technical stuff anymore. And that's where I think like some kind of meta content has to kick in, you know? Like I like the mindset stuff that you've been doing, Curtis, and a lot of other people have been doing. I think Weaver is actually amazing for the community because he's calling out like people on their bullshit, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it's true. And like I think we need somebody like checking the industry.
Yes.
Because I feel that's what I've been feeling like a lot of these content creators, and like I guess me included, everybody included to a level, is kind of selling like this dream of, if you just follow my tutorials and you do what I do, then you can get big like me, and you can get all these placements here, and you can work with all those people. And when you really get into it, and the more people you know, the more you realize it's not really about the placements. It's not really about the streaming and royalty income that you get, because all the money is being made selling to other producers. That's what mostly happens. And I think that's the thing that's not really talked about enough in the scene, because all these people are out here, okay, if you just follow me and you buy my drum kit, then you can get placement ready beats.
Yeah.
But your placement ready beats aren't even the thing that's making you money. You know, it's selling the drum kit. And that's a reality of the situation. But I feel like a lot of content creators are just not openly talking about it. It would be fine if it was open, but I think there's like too much cap, I guess, in the game. That's the problem a lot of times.
But see, you said something earlier about Weaver Beats. This is why folks like Weaver Beats are so important, because if he exists, other people will exist, because they'll see I think there's a void of criticism in the community.
100%.
And I think it not only, I don't look at that and say, well, that means that the producer community is fake. I look at that and I say, well, that means the producer community, at least on YouTube, is still very young. Like, it's still very young. When we're talking about, ClickFunnels has been around since, I believe, or funnels in general have been around since 2009. And in 2019, I say, it's kind of like when Gabe and Midi Money kind of brought that into the space. You had producers rising up and yelling like how people did in the medieval times when somebody sneezed and they say bless you and thought they had a demon in them. Like, it was like so barbaric, the reaction. And it's like, business have been utilizing this for a long time. This is not, you don't have to agree with it, but this, it must be a scam. It's like, no, you know that you see funnels all the time. You've been through one if you've ever been in an email list. They're just a different form. But when I saw that, I started recognizing that, this just shows you how young our space is. In terms of in general, not folks like yourself. But I want to ask you, as a content creator yourself, do you find it a challenge to create content? Do you find it a challenge to pinpoint exactly that content on a regular basis that does satisfy your audience, but also satisfies your growth and the things that you're interested in? Do you find it to be a challenge at all?
Yeah, for sure. That's like the biggest challenge of them all, especially for me, because like my target audience is very, very limited because they have to speak German to like understand my content. And it's a big issue because you make some stuff for like only like really advanced people talking about like a very specific niche thing. There's only going to be like a few hundred people interested in that. And you make a clickbaity tutorial about why your drums aren't knocking and it's going to get like thousands of views once again, no matter how often you do it. But I guess you got to find the balance between like making stuff that's going to get viewed and making stuff that's actually valuable. And that's really hard. Like, I struggle with that a lot.
How what is your relationship with views in terms of when you put some content out that you worked you worked so much on, you're proud of it, but when the views don't line up, because we know as much as we say like it's not about the views and you got to love what you're doing, it's so true. I agree with it, but we're still human beings who we make this for our audience. And when something doesn't necessarily hit relative to what you consider a hit within your content, how do you kind of adjust or how do you kind of absorb that when you're seeing it and it's not up to your expectations?
Man, it's tough. You know that feeling of looking at your YouTube studio and it says 10 out of 10 and you want to delete the whole video. You're like, okay, man,
I'm done with this. I quit. I'm getting off of YouTube. Let me type up my YouTube.
Sure.
I'm leaving YouTube video. Yeah, bro, I've been on YouTube for almost 10 years now, and I still be having a certain feeling like there was a part of me at some point that was like, man, you got to stop focusing on that, man. Just focus on great content. And I did. But once again, they put metrics in front of you that remind you how much you're failing. It's like, yeah, this is good, but it's not as good as your last 10 videos. Well, damn, could you not? Could you not show that to me? Can I move it down further down so I could focus on the things that are working? But I think all in all, everything can't be one way, right? It's got to be positive and negative in some sense. I think even seeing that is good because it makes it to where you don't focus so much on just the positive. Flawed TV said, yeah, that shit hurts. Yes, it does. It hurts, especially when you get that off. Fam, you make your thumbnail, you put your face in the rule of thirds, you've made your face a lot bigger than what you wanted it to be. You're a little bit uncomfortable because it's showing off, I showing off the bags of my eyes. And I'm like, this is a great thumbnail. You didn't put the grain effect and all of that stuff. You start typing up the SEO, you're like, damn, that's a description right there. You find the right tags. Two buddy says, oh, I'm number 1 ranked on this. Oh, I'm about to go up. And then you drop it. And then you see one fire emoji and about 5 other people who are like, hit the like button. And then you see like 6 people who are like first, second, third, fourth. It's depleting. Especially when I think like, damn, fam, I stayed up till 4. I woke up at 9 a.m. one day and I stayed up till 4 a.m. to get this out. Did nobody ask me to do that, but I still did it. And then I look and I'm like, here we go. 1 hour passes. All right. It's not okay. It'll take some time. Ed Salensi, what's going on, bro? That's somebody who is absolutely killing it in this space, man. Shout out to you. That feeling where you get the Birdman hands and then it goes out. So I wanted to ask you that, and I appreciate you being so transparent because, bro, I know there's a lot of people who are going through that no matter how large their audience is. Man, well, you're doing a bang up job. I love your live streams. Keep doing what you're doing, Yannick. All right, anybody else from the community? We would love to talk to you. And by the way, let me reset the room. This is a conversation about what my Patreon community feels like is a void in the producer content space. Obviously, as a content creator, I'm always in research mode. And right now, that's exactly what I'm doing. As I'm talking, had this conversation, yes, it does make for a great live, but it also is helping me a lot because I want to be great. I want to be great at this YouTube thing. I'm tired of being decent. I'm tired of being, he has so much potential, as Weaver Beat says. I've been hearing that for 10 years now. At some point, you just have a potential to continue to be mediocre. And I refuse because I know I'm funnier than that. I know I'm smarter than that. But sometimes the more you know, the stupider you are, right? Because you're thinking about too many different variables and why, I know how to fix this. And you become overly strategic and you end up missing the most obvious thing that you should change. So I appreciate everybody's feedback on that because it's real. It's real. Anybody else, please, community, feel free to go ahead and say something and we'll go ahead and talk to you about this. Is there a void in the producer content space for you and your needs?
I can speak up because I have a unique set of needs that don't get met.
Okay.
I'm pro Manhattan. I've been riding with Curtis for a while. I came to the producer community as a classically trained musician. Didn't even know what a DAW was until about 6 years ago. So trying to transfer all that classical knowledge and switch it over to a DAW. And I can choose from either very niche communities for beginners. This is how you open a DAW. This is how, and side chaining, things like that. But there's not really anything for the older musician, because we were taught that secret sauce, you don't share that secret sauce with anybody.
I'm from that generation, for sure. So
people around my age, once they know what they know, or at least have a grasp on it, they don't want to share it as much because then everybody will know how to do it. And so that's what I find a lack in the producer community. And also, I find that everybody seems to already know everything. Okay, I'm doing a West Coast type beat. What's a West Coast type beat? What makes that specific to the West? Well, go listen to this person and you'll see what.
Oh, there's a lot of that. That's the part that as a man I'm the most embarrassed of when it's like, don't put yourself out there to be a leader, and then when somebody asks you to lead, you get offended and you get catty and you say, well, I have 1 million. And it's funny because I've done that. Hello, I've done that. I'm not proud of it, but I've had times where people are like, hey, Curtis, show us how to slide your 808s to the FL. I'm like, I got 5 tutorials on here. Go look at that. But that's not what leaders are supposed to do. Leaders will be like, well, you know what? There are videos out there for you. If we have an opportunity, we'll go ahead and do that. That's what you're supposed to do in this space. I know some people are different about their styles and the way they do that, but I think the transparency is needed. I think the accountability is needed. And I think that, as you say, some people are meeting you at day one. Not to mention, YouTube is a public space. It's not like we have, and maybe that would be a great tool. Like if you had, every time you had a YouTube video, imagine if we could put up a sticker that said what level of experience this is for. That would be amazing, right? Because then there's no confusion about, is this for me or is this not for me? Just like a little bitty badge, almost like a verification badge, even in a title. If you could see that strip, I think that would be something that would help a lot of people be like, okay, I know this is not the kind of video to ask beginner questions, because there'll be some times where I'm like, do you know where you're at? This is not the video for what you're asking or what you're disclosing. But I think those are very valid and great points. And I appreciate you being so transparent, Pearl.
Thank you.
Of course. Community, my Patreon. This, by the way, you're listening, YouTubers. You're listening to folks from my Patreon community. It's a Patreon community that I'm supremely proud of. I've stayed consistent with it. I haven't burnt myself out. I've been pacing myself. I've been with these folks almost every Sunday since we started, except for the entire December. We had one Sunday, but this is my tribe. These are my folks that they help me really create or help me to figure out what kind of content to make next. I know that if I satisfy this core, it's almost like the whole 1,000 true fans theory. If I make my folks in here happy, chances are the majority of y'all are going to be okay with it as well. But that's not always true. So that's why the more of you that are a part of the Patreon, the better this YouTube channel becomes, because you become another avatar or reflection of this wide spectrum of music production and music producers. So I just would love to have you in here. We would love to hear your input, your story, your journey. And once again, if you want to come over here and join us, we're at patreon.com/Curtis King. I'll put that link right now in the chat. And we welcome you here with open arms, because we're here every Sunday. I'm glad we get to share some of the experience. In addition to just the weekly meetings, I put up content on the dashboard, videos that are helping me out personally, like that behind the scenes stuff. It really is behind the scenes stuff, as well as ideas that I bounce off the audience to see if this is something they're interested in. So by all means, we welcome you here with open arms. We would love to hear from you, see your face. Some of you I've seen for years as just a little itty bitty picture on YouTube, but to see your face, to hear your voice, that's how I get better. And that's how we can get better, because we're accountability partners for each other. That's what it is. Javon, I appreciate that. I literally just started my channel, not quite sure what kind of content yet. This will be a good conversation. If you're just joining us, Michael, this is a good conversation to go rewind and rewatch. And I want to make sure that I keep it at a digestible replay time. So right now we're at 46 minutes, and we'll go for a little bit longer. But I want to make sure that we hear from everybody at least once in the community. And yeah, anybody else have any feedback they want to give to this topic about, is there a void when it comes to your needs in producer content, producer videos? The floor is open.
Yeah, sure. I'll chime in, speak on the topic.
Who am I talking to, by the way?
This is Tyra.
Tyra. Okay, how you doing, Tyra?
Good. What's up?
I can't call it. So talk to me about the void that you believe exists, at least specifically when it comes to you, because we all have different needs. What are the voids for you, especially because of the demographic of producers that you represent? And you so fire at what you do. Like, for those who've been on Critique My Beats, you've heard some of these R&B flips and these drums, and I'm just like, yo, Tyra, come on now. So
hey.
With that said, what do you feel like is the void specifically for you and your needs as a music producer in this content space?
I would have to say the lack of promoting networking, promoting more of the human aspect, something that you're doing right now. This is what you're showing to your audience. You know, we become greater once we become a part of a community. And instead of constantly searching YouTube for very specific information. Yeah. And when you do that, we're getting back results that are scattered. It's not any information that's organized. So rather than doing that all the time, if you're a part of a community, you can just reach out to someone that's in your community and say, hey, I need help with this. And you can possibly, set up a one-on-one with that person, and they'll teach you specifically what it is that you need to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You necessarily won't have to pay for that. So that's the beauty of, I guess you could say, really focusing on the human aspect. Just, people dealing with people and people supporting people.
Can I ask you specifically, what would be an example of that kind of video? You scrolling on your news feed, right? Scrolling on your news feed, say you got like 20 minutes that you can dedicate to some YouTube time. What's something that's going to stop Tyra's attention? And what's going to be something that makes you say, no, I have to watch this video today? What will be an example of a video that did that for you?
Either have to be something very specific, usually something that's in a, I guess you could say, a tutorial base.
Okay. What kind of tutorial would you say specifically?
A how-to in reference to how to use software.
Okay. More specific than that. I'm sorry. I'm gonna keep on doing that. More specific than that. Give me like a very specific issue that only Tyra would know about. That would give me a title. How to do something.
Just to keep it simple, maybe like how to set up your rolling VT4 transformer inside of Ableton. That was the last thing that I searched for when I was on the internet, and I didn't find anything specific.
Hello.
To doing that, and it's like, how do you set it up inside of the software? Show me how to set it up, and then also show me how to set up my mic in order to get the audio to process properly through Ableton versus the audio coming through my speakers. That's something specific you want me to.
Well, what about
Ableton gang?
Yeah, Ableton gang. If y'all don't come on here with that set tripping, all right, All right, you know what I'm saying? Y'all
Hey,
in here-
they got a point.
Look, wait a minute. Oh, so you trying to tell me that I got a community full of people who don't just use FL Studio? For those of you who are worried about that, well, I don't want to be.
Oh, we taking over.
Come on, Rex. But you just got here. You're right.
And
And when your color correction is soft on the eyes, when you in 4K, everything you say automatically sound like the truth. So you can't come in here with that propaganda. That's not cool, bro. Come on, man.
You know, while I'm here, YouTube/Rex BB making beats.
Plug your stuff, bro. Plug your
Ableton
stuff.
game. You know what? I was sitting here quiet thinking, I'm like, man, am I the only Ableton person in here? But since you said that, you the homie, Tyra. You know what I'm talking about?
You got the only Ableton person.
Let's get it. Curtis, you next, bruh. You about to be on Ableton soon.
You're gonna be on Ableton. Yeah.
You Ableton gang members are not gonna jump me in. All right. I have a happy home. I got a happy home with me and Feliana. Okay. We've been
old guys to tell you.
Don't try to use my friends. Don't try to use my friends in order to get me away from my. That's my baby. That's my main. That's my love. Not even my main.
Studio, all in your video.
Come
dancing
on, man.
in the background.
Feliana ain't never.
Come
did
over
nobody.
and mess with Ableton.
Feliana ain't never did nobody wrong. Chat.
Ableton.
By the way, YouTubers, chat. I'm very curious. I want to know if it is misconstrued as much as I want to know if it is as biased as I think it is. Cause I see a lot of people in here talking about I use Ableton. Look at Lawrence Reed said I use Ableton too. Marcelo, what DAW do you currently use? I want to see. I just want, out of curiosity, as we answer this, what DAW do you use?
Cakewalk by Sonar.
All I know is I better see a bunch of FL Studio because all of this FL Studio content I got planned is gonna make me very discouraged. See, look, charismatic. You trying to give Ableton a beautiful name, and you can't even do it because it's so awkward. Abletonia. That sound like
Ableton.
Abletonia. That you can't even do that. That don't even roll off the tongue. Abletonia.
What about Fruity Loops?
Feliana, excuse me. Feliana, sir. Feliana.
Fruit Loops.
Come on now. You know they got sued for that. You know they ain't been Fruit Loops since 2001. They ain't been Fruit Loops since Kellogg's came through and was like, ha 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 ha. Ha, ha, ha. You better change that name. That's crazy. That's crazy to think that there probably wouldn't have been an FL Studio. Yes, go to the Wikipedia page. This is not rumor. I read the Wikipedia page for FL Studio. That's how nerdy I can get sometimes. Go read that. They dealt with a lawsuit from Kellogg's who were like, oh, you got your little DAW, huh? That's what's up. I'm gonna need that.
Imagine getting an email from at kellogg's.com.
Hold on. As scared as look, I didn't even think about that till right now. As scared as I was to get that email from ImageLine that says, please confirm that you have an account, or see the word sue in there. As scared as I was, can you imagine how scared they were as a startup company to get an email from Kellogg's that says cease and desist?
Oh wow.
I would be like, honey, we're gonna lose
Kellogg.
Honey, we're gonna lose it all. Toucan Sam is not happy with us. honey, it was a great idea for some time, but we gotta go. We probably funneled some children to you.
Get the strap.
Hey, and that's a wild statement right there, Flawed. He said we probably funneled some children to your little beat making program. Give me what you owe me. That's a bully. That's a bully right there. Them old money franchises don't play around. That's why they've been around for so long. It's almost like the Beatles. You don't sample the Beatles. There's certain catalogs you just don't never touch. And they like the Beatles of cereal brands. You don't go say, I'm gonna make a dog called Count Chocula. Do it if you want to. Act up if you want to. I'm sorry, we got off topic, but we do that sometimes inside the community. DIYers, Patreons, please, someone else. I want some more perspective on this Void situation because that was hilarious. The idea of getting a cease and desist from Kellogg's. I would quit everything. I'd be like, it was good knowing y'all. They finna take my whole situation. Anybody else? Any feedback about this question?
I think I might be able to chime in.
Neela, if it ain't my brother from official other, what's going on, man? First and foremost, how you doing? I know something's going on with the health, right? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I was just dealing with some stress headaches from we're dealing with a couple of stress headaches this past couple of days because of um for those who are familiar with me in the community. Some of you know that I'm a music teacher, and in the public school system, and so one of the many things that teachers deal with is stress from behaviors of students. It's packed on top of other I was also dealing with a prior stress headache because of a situation that I'm dealing with my job. That I know I'm taking it one day at a time. I already put it in God's hands and praying over it, and just doing what I got to do to get through it or whatnot, and while at the same time still trying to be creative. So that was the main thing in regards to that. But yeah, no, I'm good, definitely.
Well, I think you give us, before you answer this question, I want to kind of frame it now, because some people, when they hear about somebody's personal life, especially in a space like this, they think like, well, what are we talking about? What does it have to do with it? I think this is the exact person I want to ask this question to. Somebody who has a 9-to-5 that is so demanding that at times it can create these stress headaches. Your demeanor and your needs are so different from somebody else who has all the time in the world to just consume content. And your patience level and your excuse my language, bullshit meter is probably a lot different than normal people. So with that said, what void do you wish was filled more for your particular needs? Because you're a dope producer. You're an experienced producer. You know your stuff. But what void would you say is you would like to see fulfilled more in producer video content?
One, I would say, and this is literally off the fly, since this aspect of the fact that I have a full-time job while still doing this, it literally just popped in my head. I have noticed that I haven't seen anything regarding targeting people who are still in positions like me.
When you say that, what you mean specifically? You say in positions like you, what are we talking about?
Who are chasing their dreams while working at the same time.
Let me ask
that literally, like, I just thought about that. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Before you expand on that, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I haven't worked a 9-to-5 since 2009. I wonder if I'm too far removed to provide that perspective, since the world has changed so much since I went full time. And
right.
If that's the case, and I want to get your opinion on it, if that's the case, would that be more valuable from someone who's almost there or transitioning there? Or would it be more valuable from someone like myself who's had years and years since they've worked? Because I still remember I will never forget the smell of Quiznos until the day I die. You hear me? You know what? Quiznos, you went bankrupt before I did. I'm proud of that.
I remember the stories in your book.
I want all the smoke. If Quiznos want to get on the phone with me on the live stream for 6 hours, I got all that. I got 12 hours for you. All right? We can get on the phone. All right? The former owner, Gil, you want to talk to me on the phone? We can talk on the phone on the YouTube. We can talk it all day long. The same job that I used to turn off the AC and say, oh, it's broke, while we're standing next to ovens. The same job that I had one of my first shows in front of 10,000 people at the Nicaraguan Fest with the artist named Jay Smooth. Because, yes, I have a history in which I did a reggaeton song when I was trying to really blow up as a young artist. I did a Nicaraguan Fest. I cut my hair off and they thought I looked like Pitbull. They didn't know nothing about my black ass. Anyways, I got off that stage 10,000 people went to Quiznos to go clock in, smelling like bologna, smelling like mesquite chicken, ranch, carbonara sauce. And the first person that walked up to me had an argument with me about whether they asked for tomatoes and onions. And I said, look at my life. I just rocked the stage for 10,000 people for one song. With a beat that I made, with a song, I'm rapping on the song. I'm over here running around. I'm having people screaming, ah, they don't even know who I am. They think I'm Pitbull's son. Like, ah! And then I'm arguing about, I said, I can't work here forever. So I remember that. But going back to my original question, where do you think that value needs to come from? And do you find value from somebody who's been so far removed? God, almost 11, 12 years now.
I mean, in my opinion, yeah, there still would be. I mean, it might be a little bit, it might be a little bit of a different perspective, but there's still a perspective that you are able to chime in because you had that experience. You went through that experience before, regardless of the fact that it's been, it's been over a decade.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, it's like there's still value. There's still, things that you are able to touch on, because even during those periods of times, I don't know what the heck I did with the physical copy of the book, but I bought it again. I got to the ebook version of, so I can look at it again. So
I appreciate it.
I have a tendency to keep on misplacing losing shit over here. Like,
ain't nobody about to judge. Especially, someone said props to all public teachers. Yeah, they got props for you, for respect for you for being in that space. Ain't nobody gonna sit up here and judge your memory after what you on a regular basis. I mean, you got names to remember. I forget what I ate last night. You know what I'm saying? And you got to go every day and remember a lot of details that normal human beings just don't have to have all that in their head, right?
Yeah, and that's it's funny you said that too, because my brain is and especially when I'm getting to the point where, even though I've always prided myself with having a damn near photographic memory, but also recognizing and not being honest about the fact that as of late my memory has been getting, especially short-term memory, has been getting a bit foggy, and I had to also sit back and come to the realization that it's 2023. In October I will be 40. And so
first and foremost, we gotta clap that up. My sounds is off. Yeah, my sounds is off. We gotta clap that up. And it took me, I think, getting older, because I think a lot of folks, when you're younger, age sometimes is a very sensitive topic, and you talk really reckless about age. But then the older you get, the more grateful you get that you have an opportunity to still go at bat and do this at a high level. Even as I'm watching LeBron do the things that he's doing right now in year 20, and he's very close to my age, and I'm over here complaining about my knees because I ran on the treadmill. I walked on the treadmill for an hour. I'm about to be 38 this year. I am more grateful than I've ever been to have the opportunity to have any audience and an opportunity to still do what I love and still love it more than when I started. So I don't take that lightly. 40 years old, bro, man, that's such a blessing, especially in today's time, because I feel like it's a different world when it comes to age and when it comes to the way it's being perceived. So I just got to give you a props for that, my sir.
I appreciate it. But yeah, but when it comes to stuff like that, I have to, be more mindful of making sure that my health is up to par if I want to be able to live a long life and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? So, and so that's why I appreciated the videos that I've seen that you had dropped in the past when it comes to the things that you have done to make sure that your health is up to par as you get older, as well. You know what I'm saying? So,
yes.
But yeah, as far as the questions, I noticed a comment in the YouTube. I had the YouTube pulled up because I had to see what was going on with the daggone y'all crack me up with these goddamn doll wars and shit like that. So I was looking back to see, you know, all the different dolls and everybody
Nilak,
doing.
I will say it to the end. Producers, we are the nerdiest human beings on earth for that. We are the nerdiest human beings to have full out wars on dolls that don't even know us by names. They know us by serial numbers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? These dolls don't give a damn. Like, you over here vouching for a doll like you would die for it. How dare you say that about Ableton? How dare you say that about FL? If you,
hey, that's the difference between you and me.
Look,
I'll die for Ableton, dog.
See, there you go. There you go. It's that divisive talk again. There you go. That's that. Look.
It's all love, man. It's all love.
I'm not trying to be all dolls matter, but I'm just saying I see what you're doing. All right.
Infiltrating. You know what I mean?
And it's funny. It's funny. Like, and that's why I always find those for real arguments, especially on goddamn Twitter, and as well as like the play arguments, like what just happens is now. Yeah, that's why I always find it funny. Yet here I am a reason using. I'm just chilling, laid back, like whatever. It is what it is.
Y'all still doing that? It don't matter how many years we get into this. It don't matter how many years. That's going to always be a thing. Even the whole conversation of producer versus beat maker. When I was gone, when I was going on my hiatus, I still was on YouTube like watching videos, and I saw something about DJ Khaled. This is FL Studio producers. I was like, it's never gonna get old. It's never gonna get old. No matter if we say it's old, the fact that we comment that, God, you guys are still talking about this, it lets you know how much it's not old, because people are still gonna talk about it, right? So yeah, that's where I'm at with it right now. With it is that, bro, I'm sick and tired of them baiting me, them gaslighting me. When I say they, it's them industry producers that know they're gonna gaslight the internet, because they're gonna be they're gonna be 15 reaction videos after an hour of the video going up. They know that that's gonna mean more viewership for them, more streams for them. They don't care about us. They don't care about. They use our emotions to run up their pockets. This is another reason why I don't like using my channel to talk about other people, because I feel like people like Nilak, you more interesting to me than a DJ Khaled. His story's been well documented. His story's been told 1,000,001 times. It's part of his campaign. But the Nilaks of the world there's more Nilaks than there are these folks who are in this 1 percentile. And more people who can benefit from hearing from you, right? The Lady D. Like, that's why I love telling those stories, because it's like, yo, that's a real perspective that I am inspired by, first of all, but a lot more people are. So, yeah, when I see that kind of stuff now, I'm just like, bro, the Da Wars. Next time you think about having a Da War, and this is not for anybody in here because we're going to have fun with that, but go think about what I call the grocery store perspective. The grocery store perspective is, go to your grocery store, and when the cashier says, "How you doing today?" you say, "I'm good. I could be better. Right now I'm in the midst of this doll war between me and this guy who really loves Ableton, and it's like really been pissing me off, and I don't know." Do you just imagine her face? Just imagine her face. I remember I had a guy that I had an issue with, right? And one of my mentors, he said he was tired of hearing about it. And he said, hold on. He called a random business, a plumbing business, on three-way. And he says, "Do you know this person's name?" And they said, no. He said, "Thank you." He said, "Does that still matter to you?" He said, it's a huge world out here. Stop hyper obsessing over this. I needed that. So I say that to say, yes, production means something to us, but it's such a large world outside here. Please don't lose touch with it.
Exactly. And so, and ironically, that was also one of my other points as far as what I feel like the void is, since we added on to that the whole aspect of those who produce or just doing any kind of creative thing pursuing their career while still working either part-time, full-time job, whatever.
Right.
Those kind of things. But even prior to us talking about that, one thing that did pop into my head related to said dog war topic and stuff like that. I'll go ahead and throw that out in the air too.
Okay.
I noticed that I think it would be interesting if we had content out there, which is something that I wasn't even thinking about it as like a niche thing, whatever, if you want to, for lack of better terms. Challenges to see how well one does in a completely different dog, which is something that I do in my Twitch streams. Because I've mentioned before in our Instagram DMs about
plug your Twitch. Plug your Twitch, by the way, please. Let them know what your Twitch is. Now that I'm plugging my stuff more, I'm like now I'm like it's like a born again Christian. They want to tell everybody about God now. You know what I mean? Like that's all they want to talk about is like, hey, do you want to go what you want to go eat? You want to eat some Chipotle? Would Jesus eat Chipotle? My brothers, you should probably think about that. You should probably think of it's that energy, right? So I got that born again energy right now where I'm like, man, plug your stuff, bro. The nerve. You old
I'll follow you.
Huh?
I'll subscribe. Yeah, put your Twitch in the chat. I'll follow you.
Yeah. I will. I'll put it in both the Zoom and the YouTube. But yeah, it's pretty much my my name, Nilak, the Beat Ninja. That's the whole thing that go with. But it's NELAC, the Beat Ninja. That's nice. My IG, the Facebook. I haven't really been on Facebook much, but ever since I've been sharing this Coi Leray mashup, DJ mashup that I was experimenting with, taking the song Players, her acapella, and matching it.
Ooh, you talking about Dilla in Slum Village Players?
No. That's the name of her song.
Oh, that's the name. I thought you would mix. I thought you messed my mind up right now. I thought you did Coi Leray over Player. I was like, yo, my brain almost exploded. It's like when a homie one time he was like, okay, this is a high idea he had, but he was like, hey, what if I took Willow Smith, I whip my hair back and forth, and I put it over 50 Cent, I whoop your head, boy. I'd be crazy, right? I was like, oh, you need to put that down. You need to put that down. That idea is outrageous. That's what that reminds me of right now. When you said that, I was like, Coi Leray over a Dilla beat? I don't mind if I do.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. That's what I and the mashup is because I'm a DJ as well. I wanted to start playing around and experimenting with mashups of different instrumentals over like a lot of DJs do.
Yeah.
And since I'm trying to do more gigs, not just producer gigs, me playing beats, doing beat sets, but also getting into more DJ gigs and things as well. But it's funny you mentioned that is because that's exactly what I did. I put Coi Leray's Players acapella over a Dilla beat. And the song Destiny by Fat Cat, I used that and put that together. Was messing around in Serato's studio and I pitched her voice up to match the
key, the pitch.
The key of the instrumental, so it could flow better.
Yeah.
And I've been getting a lot of positive feedback on TikTok and Instagram, especially Instagram, and people were saying yo, this is fire. I like this one better, blah blah blah, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's hilarious that you had said that about Players, because somebody actually asked me in the comments on my TikTok video, said, rap nerd question, did you think of this idea because of Players produced by Dilla? And I laughed. I was like, not this time around. The idea literally came out of nowhere after
planting seeds. They planting seeds, bro. They plant. Look, I'm trying to plant this. I'm trying to plant a little propaganda myself. So I would not be mad at that, bro. That's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite Slum Village songs.
Yeah. So back to the main point. One of the things that I do, because I usually do beats on Mondays. I had this Music Mondays scheduled. and I'm trying to be more consistent with my schedule on Twitch, as well as start doing streaming days on YouTube as well. So that way I can start, really pushing out more with the streaming, with both my YouTube channels, with the music channel as well as the gaming channel that I started, because I'll also be playing games on Twitch too.
So hot fire question, because I want to make sure that we get an opportunity to talk to some more people. It's not going to be a long stream because I want to talk to my patrons privately after this, because I do like this format. I'm enjoying it. I hope you guys are enjoying seeing what these meetings look like. We would love for you once again to come over to patreon.com/Curtis King, join the group. As you can see, it's a platform in which I'm not even in here trying to dominate it. I'm just trying to make sure I'm a gracious host that keeps the conversation going. But we would love, and I'm going to go ahead and highlight your comment. We would love for you to be over here on this side on Patreon and become a DIYer patron. Weekly gems, weekly book quotes, and things that YouTube is not designed for me to share, but I can share it here, and I love to share with my community. So that being said, hot fire question, right? And I say hot fire because I was going to try to hopefully get a compact answer on this one, even though it may not be easy to do that. Because of not even because of you, because of the question, because this question is loaded. This question is loaded like some fries from Taco Bell. Or is that Taco Bell? I don't know. Anyways, what is your key to consistency? Because I keep seeing, as I keep asking producers questions about their biggest struggle, I keep hearing it's hard for me to stay consistent. And I assume most of it is because of a 9-to-5. Most of it is because of having kids. Most of it is because of school. Most of it is because of things that are just as important and pressing. How does Nelock stay consistent?
By figuring out a way to do a better job with my discipline, because it can be hard, and it's funny, and it actually leads right into the right into answering the question in regards to that, as far as being able to make content to help give advice to those who are still in positions like I am, that work a 9-to-5 or a part-time job or two, like I did at one point in time. And still trying to pursuing the dreams, because I do have my desire of being able to leave my full-time job and do this full-time.
Yeah,
I do. But but this is what we got to do. We got to grind it up for the time being.
Facts.
But for me, it's figuring out a way to keep my energy up. It's figuring out a way to stay on myself, or have people like accountability partners to help me stay on a schedule.
That's huge.
And because I do have my moments where I'm burnt out. Again, I work in the public school system. Sometimes those days can be multiple days. When I get back home, I don't feel like doing shit.
You just depleted. Yeah, bro.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
it's just being able, figuring out a way to manage my energy. And my problem has always been the overthinking and discipline. That's the reason why I feel like, and not to compare myself to you or anybody else that has achieved some level of success. I've had my moments, and maybe here and maybe still a few here and there, where I've been involved in some aspect of music since, I usually say 96, because that's when I made the decision to want to pursue music as a full-time career in the future. But I do kind of leave in 94, because that's the year when I was in 6th grade when I first learned how to play the saxophone. So I still leave some wiggle room for there. But the fact that I've been doing it for so long, and I personally don't feel like I am where I know I could be.
Right.
But I know it, I could have, jumped on opportunities. I could have figured this out a long time ago, had I had my discipline together, and also reached out to people to help keep me accountable.
Right.
Regardless of all the pitfalls I've gone through when, performing as an artist, because also I'm a rapper and a singer as well. And doing beat battles and things of that nature, just trying to get, back and forth, trying to get on with the beat battle scene down here in the Atlanta area. And so for me, it's just staying on myself and figuring out how to manage all of that, and figure out a way to chill, get my energy up, but also still find a way to motivate myself to still keep going because of the fact that I know that this full-time job, even though I do still love what I do.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying? Because those pockets of time where I'm having issues with, behavior challenges with students, especially like the older students and with my school, that's still, it's a small percentage compared to the love that I receive from the other students that love coming to see me for music and stuff like that. Because again, I'm elementary school, so I teach a whole student body.
Well, but before you get into that, I really wanted a hot fire question now. When we starting to run up, but you good, bro. I just want to make sure that they got a good sample size, and we're gonna have you on here for more. Plus, that's what your Twitch is for. They gonna be on your Twitch. They gonna follow you on your Twitch because you plugged your. One more time. What's your Twitch?
It's Neelac the Beat Ninja, NELAC the Beat Ninja. Y'all had to forgive me sometimes when I get into like mode where I'm talking about something. Yeah,
it's you talking to the person that does it all the time. So that I see it when I see. That's why I know you and I were related in the past life. That's how I just know. This is what it was. Like I'm not even. It's not even a question. You and I do the same thing. And I look back at a live stream and be like, okay, Curtis, you're gonna have to like I feel where the train of thought is going, but sometimes we don't always I know the train of thought. That's me though. So, I love you, brother, and I appreciate you giving the thorough feedback on that. And that answer is solid in terms of consistency, because I sometimes forget. And Casey, I want to talk to you next. I see your hands up there. Good to see you here, sis. I get into a place sometimes, bro, where I understand why I have so many military-based viewers, because I do things. When I listen to David Goggins, like, I always had an opinion, like I always had a respect for military. I just didn't understand what would make somebody want to enroll. I never understood it. Just be transparent. My grandfather served. Both my grandfathers served. My grandmother served for a time, and we used to go down to the commissary, which is like the military based grocery store. I grew up going to the commissary, right? So I've always been around it. I've always seen the medals, and I've always seen the hats and all of these things up there in my grandfather's garage. Never understood it, but I did take on the discipline, and that discipline is something that I carry in everything I do. It irks the mess out of most people who are around me, because they're like, bro, you're being too strategic, bro. Like untighten your butt cheeks. Like, it's not that serious, but I don't know how to be any other way. Plus, my dad, who's obviously the son of my grandfather, is the embodiment of that as well. So I understand it now, talking to like my friends like Red Eye and Tyra, that's the thing that we connect on. Is I don't look at it as consistency. I look at it as it's not just staying consistent. It's my word is on the line, and not for anybody else, but for me. I said, dog, if I say I'm going to do something, that irks me at night if I didn't do it.
And that's what I'm trying to get better at, making sure that I'm keeping my word with follow up and follow through and things of that nature and stuff. So that is because that level of discipline that you had, it's like I had it because my dad's the same way, even though he didn't do military, but my dad is the same way. But I don't know what the hell happened. It's like,
bro, life.
Ever since I moved down here,
no, bro. It don't even blame it. It's life, bro. Like that's something that I'm being a lot easier on. I shared this last night, but my assistant came up here, and he's one of the most organized human beings, period, that I've ever met in life. He is somebody who I had 10,000 unread emails, and it gave me anxiety to even go into that email, the Curtis King TV email. He cleared it out and had it labeled in less than a day. And he was like, anything else you need? I was like, you do this. Oh, you really do this. So he came up here to basically kind of what's the lady's name? Ayala, come fix my life. He basically came and fixed my life for a day.
Oh, yeah.
Ayana, yeah, he came and basically fixed my life for a day, and he laid out my schedule on a whiteboard. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. What are you doing? And when I explained it to him, it made sense. When I saw it on the board, I saw how chaotic I have to be, how crazy I must be to abide by this schedule every day of the year. Like and here's the revelation that I had. There's a person inside of me named Curtis King. You guys know him, you've heard of him. and there's a person inside of me named Dewan. Hi, if you didn't know, my name is not government Curtis King. My mama did not name me Curtis. I went to a Curtis Middle School, which is where I get half my name, and the other side is King from King Drew Medical Center, because Curtis King used to be a duo. He used to go to that school, so we came together, boom, Curtis King. But I ended up taking up the name because he quit the group. So that being said, it what was the point that I was getting at? In that refresh my memory. What was I getting at? What was it? What were we talking about? I don't want to lose that. Nilok, help me. Never mind. It's gone. Whatever. But I said it's gone. It's gone.
There was two people inside you. There was Curtis King and there was
Pearl. Thank you, Pearl, for being my ears. So
Man, I forgot too.
There's two different Curtis Kings. Two different people within me. There's a Curtis King and Dewan. If Dewan was another human being who worked for this guy named Curtis King, the same Curtis King that makes me do 20-hour edit sessions, the same Curtis King that expects me to be the best producer possible, the same Curtis King that expects me to, even if I have a neck pain, lower back pain from sitting down for 5 to 6 hours, no matter what, the same Dewan Howard that has to be a father, a great father and great husband and man of the household. If I had to work for that tyrant in real life, would I still work for him? I don't think I'd work for myself, because the demands are absolutely ridiculous. But I think a lot of times we don't see it that way because we think that they're one and the same. It took Spence showing me, like, no, bro, like, you're operating those as two people and you're demanding one side. You're making demands of one side that are just unfair. And I think a lot of us do that to ourselves. We make demands of our professional side, of our creative side, and we're like tyrants. Like, I gotta be consistent every day. I gotta post on social media every day. I gotta do this. I gotta make sure I get this amount of views. I can't be a 10 out of 10. We do all of these things not recognizing it's like an inner Kanye for some of us, right? It's just like you're doing too much, fam. Relax. But I don't know how to tell myself to relax when I didn't know there was two different people.
Wow.
So I hope that message resonates on this beautiful Sunday with somebody who right now is being completely hard on themselves, like I do, like I am, because you gotta be able to separate that, and you gotta, the same way you can build healthy boundaries with friends, you gotta build healthy boundaries with yourself as well. And those expectations you put upon yourself. But we don't ever see it like that because we think that we're one and the same. So thank you so much, Nilok, for the perspective. Casey, come talk to me, Casey. Casey, come talk to me. Casey, where you at, Casey? Casey, where you at?
Hi, I'm here. Hi, I'm Casey. I'm a singer and almost beat maker. I haven't been doing it in a while, but
claim that.
I am so excited to be here for this conversation. I think it is so pertinent right now. And I have a couple things to say that I've been kind of just gathering as I've been listening this whole time. One pertains to this last subject we were talking about. And I think the easiest thing for me is, in order to not overthink it, splitting things down into manageable tasks. So things that are much smaller. So it's easy for me to say, hey, I need to record this song and get it out. Okay. But there's a lot of steps to that. So if you can just break it down into the steps of what you need to do, you can do each individual steps. And if you get one step of that done in a day, then the next day you can get the next step done. And by the end of the week, you have a song out. But in my head, I used to just be like, oh, I have to do this. And then it would become overwhelming. And then if it didn't go right, it was like too much pressure on it. And then nothing gets done. So
Casey, I think that's an amazing perspective as an extension of the question of how to stay consistent. But I was going to say the original thing, and that's my fault. This happens as well when we're in a group setting. We get to talking about so many different things we're passionate about. But the original question, I'm really, really curious to hear your perspective on, and why I wanted to bring you up is there, for your needs, because you said that you're a singer, songwriter, and growing now as a music producer, and your singing chops, your singing is out of here. You over there on TikTok blowing up and doing your thing, and we love to see it.
Thank you.
My question to you is the question that we pose in this as, and just so you know, I don't know if it was privy to you, we are live on YouTube as well. For anybody here, we're on live, so I want to make sure I have consent first. But do you feel like, specifically since you have been in this producer community, you know, with T-Sketch and y'all have seen different perspectives of it, do you feel like for your needs as a producer now, there's a void in the content space? Some people are doing storytelling. Some people are doing how-to tutorials, but only in shorts. So there's not really a whole lot of depth that they can go into. Some people are doing, like, you know, the salacious stuff or reaction stuff. And it's a space for it all. But do you feel like for your needs, there's a void? And if there is, what are those needs?
Yeah, I think that as a singer, I do have a unique perspective. And I think that I did type into our Zoom chat, but so I wouldn't forget what I was going to talk about. But I think that it's important for artists or for somebody who's going to be collaborating with someone else to know what is wanted, to know what you as a producer want from us, because there's so much in a music or in a singer's career that they can do. Mm-hmm. And it's just really difficult to know what is it that you want. Don't you think that it would be, for me, I think that it would be a lot more efficient if there was producer content out there that could tell me what you want, that could say, hey, you know, in an artist, like this beat, or like if you make a beat and be like, hey, on this beat, this is kind of what I'm looking for. That doesn't happen super often. You hear, oh, I can hear this person on this beat, or I can hear this person on this beat. That doesn't give me a whole lot of indication on what you want from me. So if it's what kind of vocals, do you want more operatic? Do you want more folk? Do you want more you know, the ambient voice for as far as like samples and whatnot? Right. Like I would much rather know, so I have a direction that I'm going in instead of just jumping in blind. Well,
to quickly counter, I feel like this is also probably going to present itself as a beautiful space to create content if you were looking to do that, especially in YouTube. What you're talking about in terms of the operatic voice, what you're talking about in terms of the different styles that are going on, I think that's a void in terms of education. Like, I know, because when I'm sitting on Splice and I'm going through these different vocals and I'm looking for a specific vocal, whether it's opera, whether it's 90s R&B, like, I know these things because I'm genuinely a fan of music. I think there's a lot of producers that are not genuine fans of music. I think they like music, but they don't digest this. It's just like a really cool thing to do. And I'm not here to criticize you. We all have things that we pick up that are pretty much hobbies. But I also feel like there are people out here who just genuinely don't know what the hell we're talking about 90% of the time. And what you're saying right now, like, there's so many people who want to know, what is the difference between an R&B voice and a modern, R&B? Like, what's the difference between Keith Sweat and Chris Brown? They're both singing. It's like, no, there's some nuance that you're not getting. And I feel like you have such a perspective in this because you are experienced, because you have been here and you've been putting your work in. I think that even like singer etiquette, studio sessions with singers, a lot of producers don't have studio etiquette. A lot of producers, I'm sorry to say, especially the ones that don't ever come outside, probably not around a lot of women. First of all, no disrespect, if you fit that criteria, right? Obviously nobody in here, but they're not around women. And so when they get in a studio session, it just gets weird or it gets quiet. And it's like, if you don't communicate with the person, male or female, if you don't communicate, you're not going to have a really good session. It's like the rapper who asks for beats, but doesn't tell you what kind of beats they want from you. Just send me something fire. That's frustrating, right? Well, think about how frustrating it is when you have somebody utilizing their tool, which is their voice, that they need even after the studio session, and you just having them just sing a bunch of stuff, and now they have to figure it out because you don't know how to express yourself. I think that's a void for me, and you let me know what you think, and and knowledge about that. So what is your perspective?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And I didn't think of it like that before, which is perfect that I got this perspective shift, because it's more or less finding a way of communication. It's finding a language that makes sense to both sides. And being a vocal coach, yes, I do have more of a perspective of like different styles of voice or different styles of music. And sometimes I'll throw, vocals on a beat of tease that is more or less like a hip hop beat, but it's like a random operatic style voice on top of it. So there's a lot of stuff that can happen in between. And some of it might just be experimentation and trying to figure that out. But yeah, I do think that there's a solid, there's a solid path for that kind of education, I think, within the YouTube community, because I haven't been able to find much of that. Even singers talking about it, like what they want from a producer. There isn't a lot of that. So I think that it would just be so much more efficient for us to have a communication level.
And I feel like as a community online, as producers, as when you talk about all the years that you've seen producer content, there was a time when the only producer you were going to find, especially specifically to FL, was Warbeats. I don't know how many people remember that. Chat and YouTube. Do you remember that name, Warbeats? Warbeats had a monopoly. Like, Warbeats was here before everybody. It didn't matter if you were a hip hop producer, that was your go-to guy. Like, he was the only one teaching. When you think about how short of a time that was ago, if you were to like let's say that was 14 years ago, that's still a teenager, right? And your brain as a human being doesn't fully develop until you're 25. And I think that the scene in itself, we don't fully know our capability, and we probably won't really have a solid identity that will stand on until it's 25 years into this YouTube content, video content. And so that's why I give a lot of empathy to producers, because we're still babies. We're still babies in this space. So of course we're not going to get it right, but I think conversations like this are important because, it holds ourselves as content creators to the fire. And sometimes, Casey, we've talked about this in this community, sometimes it's a calling upon ourselves to be that voice, because we recognize, like, damn, why am I not doing that?
Yeah, you said that to me on more than one occasion, so I understand what you're getting at. And it does, and in that sense, it does create a whole, like, when you're finding content, or what should I talk about, what should I do, like, don't overthink it. It's literally break it down into little pieces. It can be this small, because people can't digest a whole bunch of stuff at one time anyway. So it can be this small, and then the next one can be a little bit bigger, the next one can be a little bit more information. And yeah, I think that's hugely important in this communication. And also, YouTube is shifting in so many different ways right now.
Sure is. What are you seeing in terms of the shift?
Well, the rise of that short form content is really impressive to me. I think that it's just easier to digest. I do think somebody said that it's impossible or hard to provide enough content in short form. But not really if you are able to break it down, because if you give them enough of one little gem, they're going to want to see the next thing that you come out with.
Facts.
Or something that will catch their attention right away. Say for instance, me, like as a vocalist, if I sing in a certain, sing a phrase in a certain way and then sing it in a different way, then I can discuss, and that will kind of I can discuss what that style of music is. So I'm just thinking of all these different things that we can do. One thing I wanted to say before I hop off is the whole secret sauce concept. I would love for us to start to think that doesn't exist.
It doesn't. Casey,
secret sauce is like,
it doesn't. Thank you for saying that. Thank you. I need to turn on my stream deck. I wish I could turn that on right now. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Because it doesn't. And I asked somebody earlier, not to cut you off, Casey. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. But earlier, someone mentioned about, like, I wish there was more of the secret sauce. And I get what you mean. Like, you want to get the stuff that actually moves the needle. You don't want to get the same big stuff that you can easily get and it's been already said before. But, like, you want that thing that's like. But the truth of the matter is, at least for me, and I need to hear the rest of this from you, Casey, because I know you got a gem for us. The two truths I've seen as a content creator. I came in swinging with nothing but secret sauce. Most of the people I had access to they weren't experienced enough to know it was secret sauce. They were like, yeah, that's cool and all, but where's the on switch on FL? I said, that's all you want to know? Is the on switch? That's it? Really? And so I tried to dumb it down, but it was so hard for me because it was like, I'm not at that stage. The secret sauce, whatever that is, if it does exist, if it does, let's just say this invisible troll. Let's just say this troll that lives underneath a bridge that's called secret sauce exists. It's different for every human being and every producer because this is not a monarchy. This is not a one size fits all situation, right? There ain't no secret sauce. Your secret sauce is going to be something that you already have access to. And you keep knocking on the content door of these producers thinking like it's going to help, thinking like it's going to give you the secret sauce. But all we have as content creators is the ability to clear up the lens in front of you so you recognize, damn, this door that I've been knocking on is actually from the inside of the building that I'm already in. I'm thinking I'm knocking to try to get in. Like, yo, nobody, like T-Pain talks about how he discovered auto-tune. And he talks about, man, I went on a year's search trying to figure out this Jennifer Lopez effect that she used. He went on a year's search, but it ended up bringing him right back to the same access that he had before he went on the search, and he figured it out. It's called auto-tune. Same voice, but it's like there's no secret sauce. It's just a matter of you got to figure out what that clutter is in front of your eyes, in front of your lens. And sometimes this is the beauty, I think, of content. Somebody will say something that will set off a domino effect inside your brain, and you'll be like, I'm glad you said it like that because I needed to hear it like that. And then the lens starts clearing, and you realize I had the answer the whole time. I just needed somebody to help clear the lens up. But please,
the secret sauce is just ketchup. It's not.
It ain't
secret.
You know what it is.
It's regular Heinz, bro.
You know what it is. It's regular Heinz. And I want Casey to finish one off, but like it's the ketchup and the ranch, and you're like, ooh, what's in that secret sauce? Ketchup and ranch.
It's fire.
It's orange. It's orange. Yeah. It's called science.
This is In-N-Out spread. That's what this is. Like, what is this? Like,
it's a little bit of relish.
A
little bit of relish. It ain't nothing special, dog. Casey, please. I'm sorry I cut you off in the middle of that. I know you're about to make a really valid point, but secret sauce. Talk to me about secret sauce, Casey.
All it is a collection of information. So like when you're seeking out what it is that you want to sound like, you can hear, we are constantly absorbing everything from everyone around us. That's just kind of the society we're in. So if we take these little pieces of information and we put them all together, then we can create our own secret sauce. It's about, we all have a unique perspective. So my secret sauce is not going to sound to you like it's secret sauce. It could just sound like, oh, well, that's nice. But I think it's just the dopest thing I've ever heard in my life. Yeah. So it will be different for everybody. And all, honestly, I think because of the society we're in, it is all short form content. It's immediate reaction. It's like needing that, the immediate from everything. The reason that we're constantly seeking for secret sauce is to get that immediate. But what it actually is you have to take the time. You just have to take the time to figure out what it is that you want to sound like. There's no other way around it.
You can't cheat it. And think about how good it feels. And this is probably not for those of you who have not been around music long enough to experience, or maybe even life long enough to experience. I remember being in Little League, right? I'm sorry, I'm telling stories like an old head, and I'm all right with that. I remember being in Little League, and I sucked. I was terrible. Only thing I could do was hit. I could hit that ball. But when it came to me being in center field, I wanted to be like my favorite player, Ken Griffey Jr. It's one of my favorite athletes of all time. I remember they said, you want to play center field? I said, yeah. They said, all right, get out there. Coach hit the ball in the air. First time I missed it, but I picked it up and I threw it. I felt like Sandlot. Second time he hit it up in the air, I put my glove in the air, and I was like, this is it. I'm going to catch my first fly ball. I had never done it before. The ball slipped right through the glove and hit me on the bridge of my nose. I still have an indent from that ball hitting me on the top of my nose. And it took me so long just to learn how to catch the damn ball. So many flying over my head, so many falling under my glove, all of these different things. And then finally, I remember that day that I caught the ball, and my pop said, I looked at you and could tell you wanted to smile so hard, but you was trying to keep a straight face on because you got your boys around. Like, I was like, yeah, I do this all the time. No, you don't. That feeling, God, it's such a dopamine rush. And I wouldn't have wanted to be naturally great at catching the ball if it meant not being able to experience that. And I think a lot of producers, because of, and I hate to blame video games, but because I'm a gamer myself, I understand, like, it's easy to turn NBA 2K from Hall of Famer to rookie. It's easy for your My Career player. You could just buy a bunch of VC tokens and all of a sudden it's the best baller you've ever seen in the world. That's how it works there. Try to do that in life. Try to buy upgrades in life. Good luck. Because you're going to see people who try to do that. People with money try to do that. And they're the most miserable people in the world because they don't have the journey. That's what we're most sad. We care so much in society about the end result, but it's not about the end result. It really is about the journey. I know that's corny. Put it on a Hallmark card. But it's so true. And if you rob the journey, there's no point in doing this. Yeah. So don't be afraid when you're struggling with something. Be excited because, damn, there's room for growth. And you're about to level up to a place that you've never been before. But when you try to shortcut it, looking for the secret sauce and all of this stuff, you're going to be disappointed when you get it because you didn't work for it. And then when you didn't work for it, you'll let it go. Go ahead, Casey. I'm sorry.
I think we also need to embrace the fact that as we progress on our journeys, the entire path will shift. Like there are so many things that we have at the beginning of going into our journey that we think we want or we think we need. And as we go along, things will completely shift. And we hold on to those old ideas so tightly because that's what we set out to do, that you realize you don't even want that anymore. Yeah. You can let it go. And there's something else that is, and you can't even see ahead of you if you're still holding on to that in the past.
Yes.
So it's super important to make sure that you're able to take a second to step back and be like, is this what I want? Is this the direction I want to go in?
That's fair.
And if not, go in a different direction. It's
That's
okay.
Fair.
We have that ability every day.
So thank you, Casey. This is why I wanted to bring you up here. I know he's going to get some gems because that's just what you do. I want to get one last person to get feedback and keep in mind, that doesn't mean the Patreon is going to be over with immediately after. We're going to spend a couple minutes because I want to make sure I address any questions that maybe the new members have or anybody in general, but we're going to do that offline. Right now, we're streaming also on my YouTube channel. YouTubers, if you don't know, this is my Patreon family. This is my tribe. This is the DIY. When I say DIYers, like, this is what I mean. These are folks who are the literal definition of do-it-yourselfers in their own life, and it's not just music. That, like Casey, can he talk just a second about your business outside of music?
Yeah, I mean, actually, everything's shifting. It's funny that I said that thing is because I own a catering company, but I'm actually getting ready to shut that down to go music full time. I've been picking up my voice coaching. Thank you. Since I got into voice coaching, it's really starting to pick up a lot and it's starting to take over. So what I've decided to do, which is crazy, is I let go of my business. I am choosing to get a job in the career in the field that I like, but with people that I enjoy working for. But in having that as just a job, I don't have to put all of my energy into a career that is taking all my time away from music. So that is what I've chosen to do. But sometimes we have to do other things in order to get to where we're going.
And feel no shame about it. And someone said it earlier, and I got to make sure. Yeah, first of all, congratulations. We got to clap it up. I don't have my sound effects today because this was such a last minute idea that I had to bring it here to the YouTube. But we are, this is what I mean when I say, like, this channel will probably never be clickbait about other producers in the other ecosystem. It's always going to be about independent artists and producers like yourself, because I find those stories so much more interesting, right? Because they don't always get told in their details and the way that they're colored, right? The different like sides of them. It feels so much more accessible and so much more doable than reading something about somebody who happened to find Jay-Z at an airport and then freestyled for him, and then all of a sudden it just happened for him. That ain't gonna happen for 99.9% of y'all, and me included. It don't matter what I did. I'm Curtis King. Nice to meet you. Yeah. And he keep on walking. It don't matter. It don't matter. It don't matter. So these stories are so much more accessible, and they show us, like, not that you shouldn't shoot for what you think is the stars, because I think we still have an infinite ability, infinite ceiling upon what we're doing. But I find these stories so much more intriguing because I find them more accessible. I find them just beautiful to hear about. But props to you for going full time. That's amazing to even hear. And yeah, thank you for sharing your insight.
It's scary to let go of the thing that you know will make you money.
Yeah.
And that's something to keep in mind, because you have to make it not about the money. You have to make it about something so much more.
Absolutely. Sarah 2L, good to see you here, sis. Good to see you. Look, I'm so glad to see more women in this community, because I've been looking for y'all in this community, because no offense to my guys, but it's been 98% for so long. I look at my YouTube stats. I don't even got to look at my demographics. I go to Facebook. I was like 92, 98, 99. I already know. So it's always great to see, because I feel like y'all bring in an energy that balances out the environment and makes us look broader than just, the things that we are having perspective on. We need broader perspective, and I'm so glad to always see y'all here. So shout out to the ladies of our space. Y'all are so important. So important. Matter of fact, that beat that you hear in the background is someone else, another woman in this community. That's Courtney, and an amazing beat tape that I keep going back to called To Be Unpretty. So that's the vibe, keeping the conversation going. One more person from the community, and then I'm going to get up off here at this YouTube, because I got a whole full week of live streaming again. Yes, we're going to be streaming every day. I've worked it out with my wife, and we're going to be working. I'm going to be in here every day streaming. I'm a streamer now, guys. I'm a streamer. I'm like Gideon. I'm a streamer now, right? I'm out here. And we're going to not just do production streaming, not just talking streaming. On Friday, we doing Freaky Friday. Ugh, what's that mean, Curtis? I'll explain myself. Freaky Friday. I got a VR headset. It collects a lot of dust if I'm not meditating. I do a lot of streams where it could be something where I go in there and play a game called Bar Fight. It's one of my favorite games. You walk into a bar and you get in a fight. You walk into a wedding, you get into a fight. You throw rockets at people. It's crazy. Why not? Why not do that? And maybe y'all send me in some music and I'll play the music while I'm doing that. But life is so much more than just music. But there's things that we're interested in as producers that are not just. So Freaky Fridays is just to have fun, right? Maybe we'll make beats. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be always something that is going to be a bit different. But everything else has a schedule. Mondays are going to be obviously dedicated to Critique My Beats, which is the feedback stream. Tuesdays are going to be a beat making stream, whether it's Flocation or Chopaganda. Wednesday is going to be the Town Hall Community Gyms. Thursday, y'all haven't heard about this, but I got to announce this. And some of y'all might be happy about it. Some of y'all might not be happy about it. I don't care. That's my friend. Me and Dorian are going to start something called Self-Made Thursdays. And we are going to be bringing energy in here, reacting to videos that come across the internet, usually videos that are from that other ecosystem that are trying to tell independents how to act and how to do things. I need to bring Dorian in because he's the opposite of how I am. I don't want somebody in here that's going to talk like me, think like me. I need another perspective that may not always be one that I agree with. It's almost like Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp, right? I need that energy in here for a little bit because there's things that we need to talk about. And there's a lot of stuff we're going to see a lot eye to eye because he's independent. And right now he's super in tune with his music. But we're going to have something called Self-Made Thursdays. And then Friday, Freaky Friday. And then, Saturday, I rest. And Sunday, I'll be with my patrons. But I like this format, and I'm appreciative of those who are in the YouTube. Can we get one more perspective in here from the patrons? Once again, the Patreon is patreon.com/Curtis King. Patrons, anybody else want to give the last words before we hop off of YouTube and finish off this meeting privately?
Personally, I'd like to hear from Courtney. She's in here and she hadn't spoken up yet.
Courtney, I don't want to put no pressure on Courtney. You want to talk to us?
No, I'm just chilling out in the back.
I ain't put no look. Tyre, you got big sis energy. I love that. I promise you, Tyre, you remind me of one of my cousins, and oddly enough, they also live in Louisiana. I don't know if you in Louisiana.
Yeah, New Orleans.
Yeah.
New Orleans.
Yeah,
New Orleans.
I got cousins in Baton Rouge that remind me, Baton Rouge and Lafayette that remind me of like your energy. So that's why I'm always excited when I see you because it remind me of family. So Yeah, I love that
504
energy.
Connect, right? You know what's up.
Come on now.
Come on, Courtney. Stop being so shy. We talking about your music, so you might as well talk to the audience since you have one. Let's go.
She like, that's enough. Nothing. It's okay, Courtney. It's all good. It's all good. We got time, but I appreciate the nudge. That's what we here for. What you want to say?
I'm not pretty much a pussy, like public girl. I'm not.
Yeah,
I'm not.
But you are amazing at what you do, and I'm grateful that you let me play your music during the stream without getting content strikes. I do appreciate that.
Actually, it's a great selling point for the Patreon Zooms because Courtney actually speaks.
Yeah.
So this is a YouTube effect. You can hear a lot from her on a regular Zoom.
You know what? I how about you end it out? You are one. You see this beard, first of all? This beard got wisdom. This beard has wisdom.
I agree with you, Kurt. I agree with you. He should end it out. Yes.
He's the perfect energy to end it out because I want folks to understand, like, there are folks in here with specialties in many different areas, and there's a lot of things I learned from this guy. Bayer, can you talk to us for a quick second to end out this stream?
Yeah, Side Chase and Saudi fam in the building. Okay.
Oh, you brought a side chain?
I would like to. Yep.
I did not know that. Look at the overlappage. Okay, all right.
I was thinking about what you asked, like what the void in this is in the community, and I think the times are actually great. Because I thought hard, but I couldn't think of anything that is like completely missing. It's really, it comes down to finding your community. It's like this perfect situation right now. It's so easy to find great communities out there, and people are just so amazing in general. Like, just find the one that resonates the most with you and that has the topics that are important. And this is how I feel about, like, this is why I feel so nothing is missing in my life, because we go through stuff in sidechain, which is very similar to your format, which is like free talk for hours on a range of topics, and it bounces from how do you make those drums kick harder to how do you prepare dates, and how is life in Japan when you were with the Navy or the Army.
Wow.
So I think it's already there. It's just like, keep on doing that. Hey, what up, little homie?
Say hi, Mama. Say hi. Hi. Say, how are you? Hi. Say, how are you? Hi. Aw.
Peace.
Say, I'll see you later. Aw. Young Nazi. Sorry about that.
Yeah. And that's basically like what I can't, like, I was thinking maybe like business, but business is a topic in itself. There is like the producing part, and it's totally legit to be focused on that, because business is just a different world that is food. So, but again, if you have a community that has people that can speak on that topic, excellent. If not, find that community.
I love
Join the community that has all the people. And I really think, like, one thing that is about to happen is communities being closer together. I see this happen, like me and Neela are basically now like an intersection. And, can speak on topics that were mentioned, which are super relevant because this is a producers community as well. So this like exchange and sharing between the communities and different genres, like
absolutely.
It's amazing. I think it's well covered. It's just about like more people doing that more. To me, it's less about like content that gets. I understand the game. I understand how clicks and views are important, but I think it's really about fostering the community, making people within the community do more together, because this is where true magic happens. This is where you, as a community host or a curator, actually basically automate that part. I was thinking about that as well. Like, you have to be present in the Zooms. How can you scale this? The answer currently to me is you don't. You let people scale this. let them grow together and like expand and reach more people and make share this bigger sense.
And Bear, I'm glad you ended this out. You were the perfect voice to end this out with. You do bring it all home, and one thing I want to say about it is I agree 1,000% with you, is that as much as things can be changed, as much as I'm going to continue to ask questions, because I'm always concerned, I'm always concerned about growing. I'm always concerned about how can I be better at what I'm doing. It's just this constant hunger that I have for improvement. Sometimes it's good to like sit back, zoom out, and recognize that everything is happening in its divine process. Everything is supposed to be where it's at. And even like when I think about, you're right, how varied the content is, how much of an offering we have compared to what it used to be. We've come light years as producers, right? I do. When I see Ed Salensi, when I see Sarah, when I see these content creators that are doing things that are like these, like Ed Salensi especially, I see some of his content and I'm like, bro, this rivals like the attention and entertainment of a Mr. Beast video, but it's for producers. And I'm like, that's dope. Like, I'm glad we're at that stage where it's not just FL Studio screen and grainy cell phone, and it's like, yo, what's up, y'all? I just want to, you know what I'm saying? Just like tell y'all about this thing called Fruity Loops. Hold on, let me turn my mic down. Hold on. All right, let me drink some water. Like that era of YouTube was so frustrating when you wanted to just get an answer. And I think that because we've gone through our natural progression, a lot of that stuff has shifted, and the expectation, the bar is a lot higher. Oh man, it's Hunter. What's good, bro? I didn't get a chance to talk. We got we gonna talk this year. I got a story I got to do about you because you a DIYer. I feel like a journalist. I got to talk to you this year, bro. But Bayer, thank you so much for in and out the energy here. Any last words you want to say before I talk to him before we get up out of here? Oh, we might have lost you.
I'm pushing everybody. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Right. Keep on doing. That's the consistency part. Find your little thing that you can do daily and go from there. Like, it doesn't have to be in every area. Just do something really consistent so that you have this happy moment going back. 2 minutes of whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. Make wacky beats.
Okay.
Mix. Hold the scale up and down, or whatever is relevant in your field, like whatever you're doing. You will be okay.
Yeah.
Just keep on doing that one part.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate your feedback. Those of you in the Zoom call, don't leave me quite yet. I'm gonna talk to the folks over here on YouTube just for a second. I want to make sure that I tell them thank you. But look, first and foremost, a round of applause for all of the members of this patron for being open to the conversation, being public, because usually these conversations are private and it's just us, and that's more than enough. But to have it be open and public, sometimes it's not that easy for some folks, because it's like there's more than just our close-knit family talking. Now I'm talking in front of some other folks in addition, and who knows how many people are watching one screen at a time. It's a lot. So I appreciate y'all and the transparency. And I'm gonna talk to let me talk real quick to the YouTube folks. And let's talk real quick. So as you saw, this is my Patreon group. I look at them as family. I hope they view me as family, because I for sure will go to bat for them and show up every Sunday. My day of rest, I show up every Sunday to make sure that we get these conversations off and general Q&A. So I want to use this opportunity, first and foremost, to invite you over to the Patreon. Curtis, what are we getting ready to get into right now? What is this? What is this? I'm gonna tell you what it is. Time to plug your shit. Curtis King, it's time to plug your shit. Go on and plug your shit. Plug your shit. Go on and plug your shit. Won't you take your wallet out and spin with me? CurtisKing.com. We got courses, packs, sound packs, whatever you need. As Curtis King, the singing voice, just said, I have a bunch of stuff here that I think you would find a lot of joy in. Get the smoke out the way so you can see me. CurtisKing.com has everything that you need. Music producers, if you are looking to get into FL Studio, I have FL Studio courses. If you are looking to even get flow state teaching, I do that specifically for music producers in a flow state course. Oh, we got more smoke. Dang, you messing up my croissants with your smoking self. CurtisKing.com has all that. I don't plug it enough. I don't talk about my stuff. I don't be hard selling, but I need to make sure. It is my responsibility to make sure that I deliver value more than just the video content. So come pay us a visit. Sound packs. I have right now 2 sound packs up there for myself, but I will have more throughout the year. I'm getting feedback from my email list, which once again, if you want to get a free pack from me that has the best sounds that I like from my packs, go join my email list at CurtisKing.com. Once you go there, what you're going to see is an email list as soon as you get on there and my smiling self, and you'll get your pack immediately. So, my friends, just wanted to make sure we had an opportunity to go ahead and do that. One more time.
Curtis King, it's time to plug your shit. Go on and plug your shit. Plug your shit. Go on and plug your shit. Won't you take your wallet out and spin? Spin with me. Spin with me.
All right, y'all have a good one.
We got courses.
I'm Rick James.
Packs. Sound packs.
Y'all have a good one.